Hi everybody, this is Mark from Lava Cable. Today I'm going to demonstrate how to properly solder the plugs and cable that come with our do-it-yourself kits that include the G&H RF2P NNN nickel-nickel right angle plug and our Lava 229 plug. You will need a few tools to do this, but you can do most of it with a single ideal stripper that you can get at your local hardware store or at Lowe's or Home Depot, which is the yellow stripper here. As you can see, we have a few more tools here at Lava Cable. That's because we do this for a living day in and day out. The cable that we'll be using for the demonstration today is our Mini ELC cable. The first thing that you're going to need to do is strip the outer jacket of the cable back about a ½ inch. Our yellow stripping tool is a good tool for this. You just grab, twist, and pull. The next thing we need to do is we need to split the shield. You can do this with your fingers, or I like to use a small Phillips screwdriver, and we're going to split the shield so we can twist it together. Now with our tightrope and mini SOAR cable, the shield is spiral, so you can just use your fingers to twist the shield apart. So we're going to twist that together so we can tin it. And don't worry if you cut a little bit of the braid, as long as it's mostly there, it'll be fine. You eliminate any kind of strays. The next thing we need to do is strip the inner layer of semi-conductive PVC. If we don't strip that inner layer back, it will cause a short. So what we want is we want to see the braid, black, white, then the center conductor. The next thing we want to do is we want to tin both the braid and the center conductor. So we'll set that in our vise. With your soldering iron, you want a good clean soldering iron, nice hot soldering iron. We like to use the Weller WES 51s. They're great irons, and you want to make sure you have a little bit of solder and always clean your iron beforehand. So we're going to tin. Now that we're tinned, we need to prep the cable so that it can be soldered. The first plug that we're going to solder to is going to be the G&H right angle plug. The G&H right angle plug has metal ears, a small area here to solder the braid to, and a little stamped piece for us to solder our positive wire to, or our center conductor of our cable. What we're going to go ahead and do is take our cable, and this is where you'll need a little pair of needle nose pliers. You could also do this with your fingers. And we're going to bend that down, and we're going to take this center conductor and bend it up at an angle. Now what I like to do is trim these back like such. And there you have a prepped cable for a G&H right angle plug. Then what we'll do is we'll take that and we'll rotate it up and through. Then I usually use a pair of needle nose that have a little bit bigger jaws so I can squeeze down on the ears. And when I initially do this, I just do it kind of gently so that I can get the cable secured. We're going to go ahead and put this in our vise. As with all soldering, again, we're going to make sure our soldering iron is clean. Put a little solder on our iron. Press it down to form that heat bridge. And there we have our first connection. Same as below. Very important that we have a nice little puddle in here. It looks shiny and clean. We don't want it dull. That's the indication of a cold solder joint. Now, I'm not going to clean this joint right now. We typically do that, but for demonstration purposes, we're just going to go ahead and finish the cable. And so what we'll do is we'll trim this off like that. We'll then take our metal ears and we're going to squeeze down on them a little bit harder this time, just a little bit, so we got a nice stress relief there. Now because the Mini ELC and the Mini SOAR, as well as the tightrope, are smaller than the exit hole on the housing, we want to put a little piece of heat shrink that comes with our DIY kits on there. So we'll take this piece of heat shrink and we'll slide it up and we'll take the Mylar protector and we'll slide it under. Now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and shrink this down. Now, as most folks probably do not have a heat gun, you can do what I just did with a lighter or with a blow dryer in your home. It's just going to take a little bit longer, and you're going to want to be a little careful with it so that you don't burn the heat shrink or over shrink it. But this is how it should look. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our housing and we're going to slide on the housing. Then we're going to take our cap, we're going to put our cap over, and we're going to twist. And there you have a completed G&H right angle RF2P NNN copper core plug soldered properly. Now we're going to show how to solder the Lava 229 plug on. The Lava 229 plug has two solder points, a positive solder point here and a negative solder point here. We're going to solder the center conductor, the positive, to the positive side, and the braided shield to the negative connector here on the 229 plug. We also have a Mylar shorting protector. Since we've already prepped the other side of the cable, there's no need to show how to prep this side. We've slid our heat shrink on. Now this requires a little bit of dexterity, but it's not hard to do. We're going to go ahead and lay our cable in there to make sure we're able to fit. And now what we're going to do is go ahead and we're going to solder this down. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to hold it down, and we're going to get our solder, and we're going to switch hands, and we're going to hold it back down with our other hand. So I'm using a little bit of a two-hand technique. If you can figure out another way to do this, great. This works for us here. And what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to set that on there, and we're going to solder the positive side of the cable. Let it set. Nice shiny connection. Now we're going to solder our negative side down. Nice connection. At this point, we'd go ahead, if you wanted to clean it with whatever type of cleaner you wanted to clean it with. You don't have to clean it. It's just something that we do. We're now going to shrink down the heat shrink so that we can fit the cap of the 229 plug on. So we're going to slide this up. Now, the same with the G&H side of this cable. You can shrink this down using a blow dryer in your home. It'll take a little bit longer, of course, or a lighter, any type of heat source that's safe. So now what we want to go ahead and do is we want to put the cap of the 229 plug on. The 229 plugs come with a couple of small flathead screws, so you'll need a small flathead screwdriver in order to affix the top. So we'll go ahead, make sure that the Mylar protector's down. I like to start the first side and then get the second side started. And there you go. We now have a completed cable with a Lava 229 plug on one side and a G&H RF2P NNN nickel-nickel right angle copper core plug on the other side. Our kits come exclusively with either 229s or G&H plugs. Okay, the final thing you want to do is test your cable. You can use any kind of cable tester. Here at the shop we have many different ones. You can also use a small continuity tester. You can even use your amp as well too. So there's several different ways to test your cable. So we'll plug it in, we'll press. In this case we have a good working cable. Thanks for watching, everybody. We hope you find the video helpful and that you can go out and make some great cables. If you have any further questions, you can email me at mark@lavacable.com, or you can call us at 918-609-6284, and we'll be more than happy to help you make great cables. So go out there, have fun, play hard, and happy jamming.